Alright team, last time I had a video with a tip about how to climb better in Ranked, in Pokemon Unite, and this time I have another one. It's almost like two. My actual point today is to suggest that we play more supporters and defenders, particularly with the Exp.Share. Because the statistics show that these Pokemon actually have a higher win rate than a lot of carry attackers, and especially attackers that don't necessarily carry. That means something like, I don't know, I guess that Pikachu, for example, on the opposing team, because it's so squishy that if it goes in alone, it can't really 1v2 or 1v3, right? It'll get popped. Alright, the second point that I want to make has to do with pairing up with people you know, especially people you're in direct communication with. One of the problems in the matchmaking system that this will cause, and this is definitely intentional and probably good, is that they'll throw you harder opponents when the game realizes that you're 2-stacking or 3-stacking, what have you, because you have an advantage. So you will often get teammates with lower battle ratings than the opponents that you get, because the matchmaking system is trying to compensate for that advantage. But there are still things that you win. For example, you don't have to deal with teammates not necessarily being on the same page quite as often. You're showing up to the right objectives. It's been really fun, especially because I like cooperative games. I like teaming up with friends, and this is exactly what Pokemon Unite's allowed me to do. Now, today we have a very different comp in these two games that I'm going to show compared to usual. I'm playing with my roommates here, so we're 3-stacking. And instead of going my usual tank build, I'm going top lane support with Lakshmi, who is our Sylveon top laner. But instead of going jungle or ADC, Thundertoes is our tank today. So this is a little core that we've designed. We don't have any connection with the other two random allies that we get, but we know that two of us can hold down the top lane, and one of us is going to try their hardest to hold down the bottom lane, regardless of the teammate that he has down there. And then the jungle, we're just going to leave it up to chance. So, the benefit of this is that we have a really strong defensive core. Sylveon's very good in the early game, and of course Clefable really helps scale in the late game as well. So this was a really, really fascinating game that I just had to record, because the feel of it was really funny, and I remember feeling pretty bad for our opponents because their headspace had to have been different than ours. I will bring this up again at the end of the game. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but let's observe the team compositions real quick. The three of us are playing pretty good early game Pokemon, but our allies are playing Pokemon that scale better into the late game, right? That Tyranitar is not going to be carrying anything until he hits level 9. Hopefully at around the 5-minute mark, hopefully not later, right? That's the dream. Now, the opponents also have a very scary early game composition. As of this season, Zacian is now an EX. I think he was buffed seemingly by accident at around this time. I don't quite remember if he's been nerfed since or not. But of course, there's a Zoroark there. Dragonite seems to be their one little piece that doesn't get really good until later on in the game. But Slowbro and Pikachu, excellent early game picks. So we're going to have our hands full in the early game. But I really liked that one of our allies picked Tyranitar, because Tyranitar is one of these Pokemon that really benefits from having a supporter on him. And that's why I chose Clefable over another, perhaps less supporty top lane Exp.Share character like Eldegoss or Pikachu. I wanted something that could keep that Tyranitar alive even better. So, let's see how this goes. We are going to immediately head top lane here. Now, the clear on Clefable, I don't know if we're going to see it here, but I have realized that I wanted Disarming Voice, ideally the first Bunnelby, and even though it's super enticing, I'm not supposed to Disarming Voice these two. Now, I think I did there, judging by the animation, but the reason why I want to hold that back is because those two aren't going to be contested. This guy's going to be contested, and Disarming Voice has a really low cooldown. We missed that there. We got out-secured because my Disarming Voice didn't come back soon enough. It's actually surprisingly good secure on Clefable. Now, another thing that's different from how I've played Clefable in the past is I'm not running special attack specs. And the reason for that is basically because of my lane partner, Sylveon. Sylveon's secure isn't so great that I can leave it alone in the top lane and it'll still have a 50% chance of out-securing. Like, look, that Slowpoke got us there. They're actually doing really well with their secure. Pikachu and Slowbro are quite good at this. We're actually tripping up. So basically, I would prefer not to leave the Sylveon alone. Of course, Wise Glasses don't scale as well as special attack specs in the late game, if you get all of your stacks, but in the early game, you're almost better. Nice. Very successful gank from Frogadier there. Did Sylveon die? It did. Unfortunate. Frogadier is going to go stack here. The opponents chose to gank bottom lane with their jungler, so they seem to have won down there, whereas we won up here. Oh, we've got an early Greninja. That's beautiful. It's because he scored a whole bunch in their goal too. On paper, I don't mind Sylveon's matchups against Pikachu or Slowbro. Neither of those Pokemon is really that good of a counter to Sylveon, but their biggest strength is going to be playing together, keeping their distance, because Sylveon doesn't have the same range as those two. Oh no. Here there was a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance with the distance. I couldn't keep up with Sylveon with Moonlight. Oh, can I get that Pikachu? Actually. No, the telekinesis saves the Pikachu. I didn't remember that at all. We're getting a little bit slapped in the top lane, guys. This is oftentimes a little bit more of a dominant performance. Oh, here I think someone points out that the jungle is back. Larvitar's going to go take it. Oh, he's still a Larvitar. That's not good. But remember, this game has cool catch-up mechanics. Oh, interesting that neither of the junglers took the mid-birds. Of course, the lane birds are coming up now, but I think we should be heading bottom. We're not going to make it in time for those up top. Oh, maybe we are. I get telekinesis, but it doesn't matter too much here. Boom. Should be a little disarming voice. Oh, I took Gravity this game. So Gravity is an interesting move where I like it much better than Follow Me because it lets you deal more damage than Follow Me, but it also isn't always warranted. For example, here, my reasoning was, well, there's a Zoroark on our opponent's team, so I want to put that Gravity down so he can't just dash in and out like Zoroarks tend to like to do. Gravity stops that. And they've already taken the bottom Reggie, so... Oh, our team rotated up after they lost bottom. Very good play. If you lose the lane and the opponents weren't killed as well, you have a pretty good idea that they're going to rip that objective before you get there, so why bother going back there, right? You would rather go to the other lane and help us win that one. That's exactly what they do. Here my Moonlight keeps Umbreon alive, even against the Zacian. Did we get the Zacian? We sure do. Oh, I peel off here. Oh, I had for a second there. Yikes. No, that was a terrible play by me. That was way too indecisive. We needed to either collapse on that objective or I needed to get closer to my ally. So here, Sylveon's going to give up the top goal, start taking that catch-up experience that they just gave us. Tyranitar's down here. So he wasn't in that fight. He was getting his levels. Which, you know what? 2 minutes ago he was a Larvitar, so I don't hate it. If we're going to have any shot of winning this game, it's going to be with a late-game Tyranitar. Now here, I remember seeing that the Tyranitar first wasn't with us and then went up alone and died. Now this would be a very easy position to rage about if I weren't feeling so confident. We are definitely losing, but I very clearly remember in this game saying, I don't feel that bad about this game. I feel like we're going to win because our end game team composition is just superior. And that's one of the things you have to think about is if you're an early game team like our opponents, you really want to steamroll this early game because, well, the late game might not go as well. D's deciding. I think we gave up bottom to we gave up top to try and win bottom. And this Dragonite is going to solo rip. And I think because we stopped to get the birds, we are not going to make it in time. So we are losing on both ends. We should see the little symbol pop up here that Oh, we come in to contest, but we cannot out-secure a Dragonite. Oof, brutal. Not enough damage on Umbreon plus Clefable. Oh, yikes. It looks like we're getting slapped around everywhere. Now, the opponents were smart to retreat there. It's not worth fighting a Tyranitar with a Clefable. Now, the plan for us is we really want to get fed on these levels. We're falling behind. We need to get back up. Because if we're behind by 2 levels at the Ray fight, there's no way we're winning. So here the Tyranitar goes to the center, trying to pick up some kills. He does pick up one. See if we can get the Zoroark. Ooh, Zacian's here for backup, but so is Clefable. Here's the gravity. That Zoroark is rendered completely useless in that. And he gets taken down. Zacian doesn't have enough damage to cut through Umbreon through the healing. He cut through the healer. But he was at too low HP to finish me off. Or sorry, to finish us off. Oh, wow. Respectable damage there from the Thunderbolt Pikachu. Now, it looked like Slowbro accidentally slow-beamed the Umbreon at not the greatest time I've ever seen. Unless that was just a telekinesis and it looked like it lasted longer than it did. We've been losing all of these objectives. This is why I found this game so funny, is that we lost almost every objective, but as long as we don't lose the experience battle, the level difference, we're going to be completely fine. Because if we wipe their team at the Ray, we can easily come back from this position. And this is one of those games where, you know, a more pessimistic person might conclude, if you guys win this, that just proves, you know, that nothing matters except for the Rayquaza. But there's a lot of factors that go into how important the Rayquaza fight actually is. And one of them is what your team composition looks like. Because if you have a better late game composition, then, well, yeah, the Rayquaza is going to be very important because you're going to be able to scale it very well. If your endgame team compositions are very even, Zacian makes a big mistake trying to invade here, gets caught by the mean look, and easily decimated here. That was not what he wanted to be doing. See, this is one of the ways that we can easily steamroll here. Everyone's going to show up at full health because I am a Clefable. I'm not even level 12, but I'm also not even worried. What is this Slowbro going to do? Nothing. He's going to get caught by the mean look and chopped to bits. Pikachu has a nice Unite there, but Zoroark gets taken out by Sylveon and Greninja. We backed off of the Slowbro, killed all of his teammates around him, and then went back for him. See, the Zacian really threw the game there by not being there when his team needed him. Easy Clefable secure. Pokemon's too strong. And because this goal was still open, this is going to be a nice overscore of, what, 85? Beautiful. Oh, we broke the shields, but we're crashing in here with everyone, so we might be able to wipe them again. We've taken out both of their top goals. Sylveon's actually pulling off, so we were not able to wipe them again. But even with just those 2 goals, we're already ahead because of the 85 overscore. Oh, excuse me, it wasn't just those 2. There was also a bottom goal up for the opponents. Now we're playing defense, but we were very clever, and we pulled off before it was too late. Sometimes you can accidentally throw a game by pushing too hard and getting killed. Too many of you guys killed, and too many of the opponents still remain alive. Nice little Hydro Pump. Clefable Unite move. And then you're unable to defend a wave of 5 attackers collapsing on 1 goal, and you lose the lead that you had just won. But this was not us this time. Oh, I completely missed it, but that Umbreon scored again, didn't he? Thundertoes was waiting while I was so focused on the bottom fight. See how he... Look at where that Umbreon is on the map, right there by the opposing bottom goals. Now, I know I'm really exciting here, the Lakshmi and Prince holding off a wave of attackers, but while we're doing that, Umbreon is scoring 52 at the goal that the opponent's left undefended. And then he retreats to base before the Zoroark gets a chance to score. And then he also defends from the Dragonite. What a slick move. Sneaky, sneaky Umbreon. So Dragonite gets completely roasted there. Solrex going in for one last push. He turns into a Claydol. Do we fall for it? We kind of do. For a second there. No, that was funny. Now, as long as no one got to the goal, we were completely fine. Very well-controlled game. Anyway, what I was trying to communicate about the raid fight is that if our team compositions had been a little bit more even late-game focused, even if that Zacian hadn't messed up, that might have been enough to make it so that we were never able to do that. Because if team comps are even, then we're going to need to trade some deaths in order to wipe the opponents, and we might not have enough people alive to capitalize off of the raid fight, right? It was really important to 5-0 them there, because then we had enough people score, and we broke 3 goals. And that was all it took. The Umbreon, if you remember, scored over here. Let's see. When he's hiding in the bush before the 50-something goes in, we're already winning. So that was all that it took. So that was beautiful. The 5-0 makes a difference. It's not just winning the raid, it's by how much. How many of you guys are alive? How many of the opponents are dead, right? That's a lot. Oh gosh, that Dragon Knight's level 12. What in the world happened? That's why people like putting that thing in the jungle so that it can get a level advantage and hard carry. Anyway, I have another game to show with this exact team composition from this season. This time we have the EX Zacian on our team and a gold ribbon, no less. We're up against a Meowscarada, but I believe that this was before the emergency buffs to this Pokemon, so it's still not going to be good. I have a pretty good feeling about this team. Gold ribbon Zacian in the jungle, an Espeon ADC there with the Umbreon. I think our team composition is just superior to our opponents. We'll see if because I don't remember exactly how this game went, but that is what I'm going to predict. Now, the opponents have a Hoopa. What does that mean about how our priorities change? Hoopa's really good at transferring people across the map, right? And it needs those goal zones. So against Hoopa compositions, we're looking to try and break at least one of those goals earlier than usual, where usually it's not that big of a deal. In fact, if you're controlling the match, you almost don't want to break it because you don't want to give them catch-up XP and you want to keep dominating the farm in the top lane. But against a Hoopa, you do want to cut off his main form of support. Oh, did I secure that? I sure did. See what I mean about disarming voice, guys? It's a good secure. So here I showed up with it equipped. Boom, easy secure. I peel off to try and smack this bunny because he's trying to get too close and steal our farm. He doesn't get it, and we get a Sylveon because of it. I have to retreat, try and make sure this Umbreon doesn't get the steal. He does not. Now he has to run for his life, and because of that, he can't help contest this Bunnelby, which I pick up again with Disarming Voice. Unfortunately, we get ganked by the jungler, but, you know, that's going to happen. Our jungler did the same at the bottom lane, so it was an even exchange. We want to get this corner guy. Oh, I've given up the lane birds up for dead at this point. Lakshmi was going for them. We weren't really at the same wave of thought there, but Zacian shows up, so we're kind of... Oh no, the healing wasn't strong enough to save the Sylveon. So sad, so sad. I get myself cut on the other side of that stone block. It also just looked like my Moonlight wasn't off cooldown in time to save the Zacian, though. Ah, bummer. That fight could have been totally winnable if we had been in slightly different positions. Oh man, are they going to get us again? Wow, this Meowscarada is staying so long in the lane. Usually when that happens, if one of our players is the jungler, I call out to see if we can check their jungle, because their buffs are probably up by now, and we can just take those and punish the jungler for staying so long, right? But, of course, we had no mic communication with the Zacian. Ooh, we're close to breaking that bottom goal. It's very good to see. Trying to get more levels on the Sylveon, who has died one too many times. She needs her level 7. Well, it's not that important of a breakpoint. We're just trying to keep up, not fall behind the opponents, right? Who have a level 7 Umbreon. That's weird. I guess he's not playing Exp.Share. Cool little Espeon Unite. We flip that match down there. And here, only one ally is defending this goal, which is not good enough against a Sylveon. We take turns zoning and scoring here. Oh, I don't score. I want to go back for these birds? Interesting. I think if I played this match again today, I would have done that slightly differently. Yep, we conserve our XP lead against this Raboot. See, we don't even care about the objective right now, because our rip, our damage against the objective is not good. So instead we start heading down, and it's super late. It's a super late time to do this. Why are we continue? Yeah. That was a weird little move from us. I wonder if something that Thundertoes had said made us think that we might show up on time. But speaking of which, Thundertoes dies, and now he's up here to help us with the objective. Unfortunately, the Cinderace was able to pick up a lot of XP in our absence. But he's not really a 1v3 type of Pokemon. Not in this kind of fight. Ooh, the Hoopa portal. I throw down a preemptive gravity, making it so that they can't just burst into where we are all at once. Umbreon's going to go zone for us. It was enough. The Zacian damage really helps in the objective secure there. And now here, all piled up with the Moonlight, the opponent damage needs to be really spiky in order to mean anything. And the more of them that get chopped down, the less they're going to be able to fight off against my Moonlight, right? An overscore of 12. Oh, no. It went down to 2 and we got 22. An overscore of 20. I like that. Here it's important to... I see that there are lane birds up there, but Espeon and Sylveon are on them. I really want to get rid of this mid farm because it's just as easily accessible by the opponents as it is by us. And Thundertoes is down here picking up these birds. The opponents are losing all of the birds. That's a huge tempo swing. All over the map. You'll love to see it. So where are we going? Where am I heading? I think I'm just scouting the area. I see that exclamation point. I probably called that I'm going bottom, because I see the objectives coming up. We went Umbreon Unite into Mimikyu Unite. Umbreon's retreating, getting berries. Ooh, Espeon didn't have a frontliner, but now he's back. Now the gravity's up. Not a good placement. I thought they were going to keep fighting there. Wow. Dominant performance. There's a running joke in our little play group that Sylveon's really good against Cinderace. Not entirely sure why. Sylveon debuffs special attack, and Cinderace is a physical attacker. But it must have something to do with the nature of Mystical Fire and how Cinderace isn't a very tanky Pokemon. And Mystical Fire gives you more mobility to chase him down. Lakshmi's a fan of facing Cinderace players. She does very well against them. It's the KO streak of 2 by that. I didn't even notice when the objective went down. I'm still waiting for us to go down and kill it. It's already gone. That is awesome. The Zacian must have taken it down while we were busy holding off the enemy. And now we're heading up. Of course, this Hoopa transporting everyone to the top path through the goal zones. There's going to be yet another fight. Let's do this. Enemy have not learned their lessons. Cannot damage meaningfully through this Clefable Moonlight. There's a gravity, so they can't just dash through. A valiant effort by that Cinderace, but it was a little late. Our team is working very well with us. They understand, that Zacian and Espeon understand that it's their job to rip the objectives, while the three of us, the defensive core of the team, just hold off the enemy. And it's been working really, really well. Clefable is really annoying in the way that your opponent's chip damage isn't meaningful anymore. You have to go all in, and that might result in your death if you do that. This is a beautiful time to draw out the Hoopa Unite. It's way too close to the Ray fight. This Unite move does not have that low of a cooldown. He goes down. We have taken down their bottom goal. We're taking down their Umbreon. Oh, this poor Umbreon used to have one of the highest levels in the game, and now he's fallen back so far. We're diving in a little too far there. Luckily, Thundertoes is playing an Exp.Share Pokemon this time, so he's only level 12, so the catch-up XP he's going to give whoever killed him is not that high. That poor Hoopa's level 9, he probably is on an Exp.Share. He just got level 10. We have a level 14 Zacian. This is not going well for the opponents at all. It's because we haven't been letting them take the birds in the lane, the birds in the jungle, or any of the bottom objectives, so their experience is getting capped because they keep on fighting us. The more you're fighting us, the less you're farming the stuff on your side of the map, and the less experience you're getting. If we keep this experience lead going into the Ray fight, it's going to be so difficult for our opponents to pull back. Did we get that with the Zacian dash? We did, yes. We actually get wiped here. So that puts us in a tricky situation. Look at those death timers. Over 30 seconds on the Zacian. So now we've opened up a lose condition for ourselves, right? So this is going to be interesting to see how we maneuver this. They've already started ripping, so we have to come in here and do something about it. I chase away the Cinderace because he has good damage output. We're trying to stay alive. The Umbreon came back, but he's kind of late to the party. Oh no. Sylveon's doing her best trying to dart in and out, but they take the Ray. Uh-oh. This match was completely in control, and now all of the opponents are alive, and they all have shields. Very nice Espeon Unite there. It didn't break any shields, but it got him close. Now Cinderace loses their shield. Can the Umbreon lose their shield? Is the Hoopa losing their shield? Yes. Okay, so we pull off to let them score in that goal. This goal was successfully defended, maybe? We lost both of our top goals. There's the Sylveon kill on the Cinderace. Oh man. So currently, we are still winning. Imagine that. How high our lead must have been. And here, they kind of choke. I go here with Sylveon. They're not expecting a counter push. We get in a full 100 on their goal. This amps up the pressure. Before, we thought we might be losing. We weren't. But it was so close that we thought we might. But now we know we're not. So now the name of the game is to defend. And the opponents are all missing shields. That Hoopa has no shield. I want to see the Umbreon up there. I'm not controlling the camera. This is just recorded footage. No shield on this Umbreon. It desperately needs to get in here. It's carrying 47. That's game-winning material right there. Mimikyu's coming up from the top. We're trying to crash in against that Umbreon. No shield on the Mimikyu. Foul play Snarl, very good at defending goals. Look at that. He has 13. He can't score it. Oh my gosh. What a cool ending. So, after the Rayquaza was lost around here, this was the defining moment here where, see, Sylveon, Lakshmi and I were at the top lane, not realizing that maybe if we had gone down here, we could have prevented all of these deaths. Our thought process was, if we get all of this catch-up XP, we show up with all of the level advantage, and we win. And because we weren't there, not necessarily that we made a mistake, we just weren't all on the same page, and we didn't expect that the opponents would send all 5 of them down here, especially knowing that all of the team fights up until this point have ended in our favor. So, I guess kudos to the opponents. They caught us off guard. They capitalized on our misplaying coordination, and they took the Rayquaza. Now here, as they take it, I wanted to count exactly what happened. We were leading 310 to 106, a little bit over 100 points of difference. So, I'm counting this time, not paying attention to what goes on, just what goes into our goals. 60 by the Meowscarada. Oh, that's huge. 92 by the Mimikyu. So that right there put them at 50 away, right? And right here, the Cinderace is carrying 50, but his shield gets ripped by a combination of the Espeon Unite and the Zacian just being Zacian. Here, the Hoopa was unable to score his 26. Oh, Cinderace is threatening to score the 50 again. Does he make it? He does make it, doesn't he? No, he doesn't! The 50 never went in. The Mystical Fire must have poked him right as he was about to deposit that. That was actually huge for us, now that I'm looking at the finer details. But here, we still think we might be losing. And we realize that most of their shields are gone, so the threat is lower. Most of us are alive. We have sight on most of them. The one person who died has a 22-second timer, so if there's any chance to be able to score something as large as 50, it's now. Here, what I probably should have done was try to score up there with her, and then gotten in a score of 58, which wouldn't have broken the goal, and then gotten 100, and that would have been a nail in their coffin, you know? But for some reason, I didn't think about that. I thought that the fact that we were scoring on their goal might have triggered them to all rush back from the middle of the lane, and I wanted to be there to intercept them so that we could get our key score of 100. Probably wasn't the best play, but it's a play that worked out, and I think it was safe enough. And of course, this Umbreon defense at the end is just world class. Can't get through the Zacian here, can't get through the Umbreon here. So all in all, a very, very impressive game. And our defensive core worked wonders even when we slipped up. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you got any good ideas about climbing in ranked this season from these videos, but honestly, I just did it for fun. It was a great time. Always nice to win with your best friends in a game that you really like, right? Anyway, that's it. See you guys soon. Toodles.